You know, I am amazed that I did not cringe during this episode. I mean, it was so heavy on the incest, and not a great deal happened during this whole action sequence of an episode that I thought that I would end up rolling my eyes constantly and getting bored all the time, but in the end, I did find this episode to be a really watchable experience, and it did make me appreciate the whole urban fantasy genre, as this episode showed that urban fantasy can be an emotional and beautiful experience. So in episode 6 of Handshakers, we basically get the entire fight between Tazuna/Kayori and Masaru/Lily, as well as an exploration of the motivations for both sides to do their fighting. Masaru and Lily fight by, well, it's more Masaru that does the fighting, as Masaru uses his cards to create powers to defeat Tazuna and Kayori, and yeah, the whole card thing works visually as the source of Masaru's power is clear and present, and Masaru has a wide variety of powers at his disposal. Then, for some reason, Masaru and Lily stand on a rooftop and they use their powers to attack Tazuna and Kayori on the ground. What an epic way for two teams to fight, as the whole city is the battleground. It's like an urban fantasy anime fan's dream over here. Now at this point I should point out that even though I found the music in this episode to be catchy and unique, it didn't really suit what was happening on screen. The music sounds really happy during the action scenes, and all that removed quite a lot of the tension, as it was confusing me as to why the music was so happy during an epic battle. But the music was a lot more suitable during the flashback scene of Masaru and Lily when they were younger. The flashback scene was kind of pointless, as it just told us that there was incest between the two in the past, just as there's incest between the two in the present. We already knew all that. I guess the flashback was just there to create artificial relationship development, and so the battle continues, and this is where things started to not make sense. Tazuna and Kayori are attacked by this giant claw thing whilst the two are climbing a building, and yet even though they were clearly defeated by that claw, like they should be dead, they were still alive. How the hell did that happen? And then Kayori somehow manages to use her knowledge of the cards that she previously learned how to use in the real world in the previous episode to guide Tazuna through the cards' attacks in the fantasy world. How the hell does that work? So then Tazuna and Kayori finally reach Masaru and Lily. Masaru attacks Tazuna and clearly kills Tazuna's ass. Tazuna somehow survives, and then Tazuna kills Masaru's ass? Nothing makes sense in this anime, people, and in the end everyone is smiling. What the fuck? So yeah, this episode had some really beautiful animation and visuals, and it seems that this episode had a higher frame rate than previous episodes to carry its action, which did help, I suppose. But again, the writing was very dodgy indeed, as not a great deal in this episode made sense, yet I must give credit to the writers for them not making the incest stuff cringy. They did try to make it as subtle as possible, thank goodness. So let's see if anything will change now in this anime, as we are halfway through it technically, so there's got to be some kind of big shock incoming, or else this anime will just become another boring, repetitive battle anime. Perhaps Kayori will actually start speaking some things, or she'll actually do something badass in a fight or something like that. What this anime now needs is something really spicy to happen.